Hey, thanks for watching the Eyes Open Network. Today I wanted to cover a topic that just can't get enough covering, and that is our financial system and the coming collapse. Now, if you're aware of what's actually going on in the world, you probably know what the Federal Reserve System is, and how our system, our financial system, if you will, is just a huge, huge illusion, drummed up and backed by the Federal Reserve System, which took over the United States basically in 1913, based on the Federal Reserve Act. Now, if you don't know what the Federal Reserve Act is, I strongly, highly recommend you head over to our website, eyesopennetwork.com, look down the pages area, or categories area, down the side of the right side of our page, and you'll see a category Federal Reserve. Click on that and look for this article, but most importantly, read or watch the video there. There's a good video put together on, and so that you understand what the Federal Reserve actual system is. Nor is it federal, nor does it have any reserves whatsoever, but it sounds pretty cool, right? It sounds like it's mighty. It sounds like it's government, which it's not. Sounds like it's got all our money and everything intact. It's got reserves in case something bad goes happen, right? Because reserve sounds good. And a system sounds like it's a plan. Well, we're under a false illusion. We're in an era of illusion. And trying to understand everything that's going on, that's by design. By the United States government, more importantly, though, which allowed it to come into play, is the Federal Reserve, the world bankers have control over the United States, who have over the control over most of the world, not just the United States, most first world countries. And those first world countries, the West countries, are running things. But I wanted to talk about how they do this, how they spin it, how does the population just doesn't clue into this, what they're actually doing. And it's all based on an illusion. Now, a foundation of a good illusion would be understanding data, and throwing lots of data at the not so bright public, right? Like you and me. We're not so bright, right? We're not that smart. So if they come up with big numbers and big words and big things like that, they can run an illusion because we kind of just, look at them glossy-eyed over, like, what the heck are you talking about? Now, and the biggest of all is obviously the Federal Reserve doing this. In fact, the Federal Reserves have no idea how the real economy works, functions, or painfully, and it's really, really frustrating me now. It's apparent that this is the way it is. But what they do is they flood the information of data, neatly organized into slop trots through suggested precision, creating big data and things like that. And to prove that or back that up, that I'm not just making up things and being frustrated with the economy and, suck it up, you should just go and, do better for life or focus on life. We're actually being duped right now, folks. Okay? Look at these two people here I got on the screen right now. It's some of you guys recognize these people right off the bat. Some of you guys maybe have never heard of them before. The woman on the top is Janus Yellen, who is the president and CEO of the Federal Reserve. Again, not federal, not a federal employee or anything. She's hired by the banks. Now, this is the person that they've stuck out there to give us this data. And I want to share a clip with you recently that she gave at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst on the type of person that is trying to tell us what's going on.
Some slack in labor markets remains, and the effects of this labor slack and the influence So some slack remains in labor markets, and the effect of this slack and the influence of lower energy prices and past dollar appreciation have been significant factors keeping inflation below our goal. But I expect that inflation will return, and the influence of lower energy prices and inflation below our goal. I expect this to occur as the temporary factors that are currently weighing on inflation wane, provided that economic growth continues to be strong enough to complete the return of the economy to full employment and to return to full employment, and long-run expectations remain well anchored. For most FOMC participants, including myself, we currently anticipate that achieving these conditions will likely entail an increase in the federal funds rate later this year, followed by a gradual pace of tightening thereafter. But if the economy surprises us, our judgments about appropriate monetary policy will, of course, change. So let me stop there. Thank you.
You okay? Let me help you off the stage.
Now, some are claiming, the mainstream media has claimed now that she was sick, that she wasn't feeling that well. I believe she was having a nervous breakdown. I believe that she was actually, it had become apparent to her as she was giving out this gibberish, which nobody understands, doesn't mean anything. It's made out of sophisticated data and big numbers and things like that, and none of us can understand anyway, and they don't even understand it. Trust me. Okay, so they're doing. She came under the realization that she's telling a bunch of bullshit. She's telling a bunch of a bunch of crap to everybody, and she knows, and her morals and her ethics and her inner soul is telling her, her subconscious mind is telling her that this is a fraud. And she's realizing at that moment on stage, and she wanted to quit, she wanted to stop, but she understands who her bosses are, and she understands that if she defies what is going on, what's going to happen to her, most importantly probably to her family. And when you get to an age that she's at right now, you don't want to leave this planet leaving a horrible legacy behind. You don't want to be known as the person, or your family know you as the person that duped everybody. That's what was happening to her on stage right there. And she had to get the heck out of there. She had to recuperate. Now, she has recuperated from that because she got, assured by her bosses and her people and everything that everything is all right. And, just keep getting out there as a little old frail lady that looks at sophisticated data, right? Which you see the picture at the bottom here. That's a picture of the IMF, the International Monetary Fund chairperson, Christine Lagarde. Now look how sophisticated she looks. She looks really smart. She looks weathered. But she also looks like she might know what she's talking about. Now, she's trying to pass off data, which is basically just a guesstimate at the best, anything that you or I could do, and to carefully execute distortion at worst. And this was a recent conference where she gave this data, and her actual words are below. The global economy is growing by about this much. And then she further went on to say, according to our highly sophisticated models, as to they're sophisticated. You would just believe us because you wouldn't ever understand these sophisticated big models of data that we go through, that we know what's going on. They have no frickin' clue what's going on. So they have to dumb it down to people like us because we're not educated, right? We're not smart. All by design, by the way. Look at our education system. Most people listening to this right now don't even understand what the Federal Reserve does, doesn't understand what the Federal Reserve is, doesn't understand what these people are talking about, sophisticated models. We should just believe and trust them, right? Now, and to give you an idea about it, look at her hand gestures. Like this much. Oh, okay, well, it grew by a little bit, I guess. And we're too stupid to understand what you're saying. So we just take it as like, well, they must be smarter than us because they have sophisticated data. And we'll just go along with that. Well, it's an illusion, folks. It's not real. And like I said, go watch that Federal Reserve video. Go watch and understand what the money system really is. It's a fraud, it's an illusion, and it's not real. Everything is fake. It's not backed by anything. Another point I want to make, the unemployment rates that the mainstream media and the government is telling us and the official rate of inflation is all inflated and not real. And that's fact and on record. They're all an illusion. It's a part of it. And it's rigged to lull the masses. And it's designed to drive you nuts and confuse you. And it's designed to keep you off track of what's really going on. And things are, everything's rosy, everything's good. But behind the scenes, folks, we are just a matter of basically the Congress ruling not to bail out the banks this time, because it's coming. And we're going to fall. Now, think about what the chairman of the Federal Reserve does, Janus Yellen. What she must claim, that she's planning to raise interest rates, right? Because then that means a sign of good things are happening in the economy. That's the real sign that things are happening in the economy. Not this other illusional stuff like the unemployment rates and all this kind of stuff. I mean, we're just days away from the debt ceiling being raised to over $19 trillion. The interest rates are still at zero. But Janet Yellen has to come across and tell everybody that they plan to raise interest rates, which is the real indicator, while also at the exact same time proclaim that she's keeping rates at zero for the infinite future. Now, if a non-elite person, none of these CEOs, none of these bankers, none of these sophisticated data punchers rambled this into fashion, if we actually said that ourselves, both those things, we're going to raise interest rates, but we're not going to. But we're going to give you the illusion that we are. They'd throw us in a loony bin. They'd call us schizophrenic. They'd call us Jekyll and Hyde. They'd call us bipolar. They're going to put us in a psychiatric ward. What are we doing? Why are we still believing this crap? If you haven't started taking steps to protect yourself from this illusion, I strongly suggest you buy silver, buy gold, buy real tangible assets, that after all of this collapses and after all this farce happens, which has happened hundreds of times with fiat currency and dozens of times run by the banks and the global elite that have an agenda that doesn't include you as prosperous, that you protect yourself, that you need to protect yourself. And whatever the scheme is, the next scheme that they got going, you need to protect your own money and your assets, and the best way to do that is real, tangible assets, precious metals, gold, silver. Because this is all going to fall apart. And all the Fed's QE and ZIRP, which is zero interest rate policy, has accomplished was the inflating of multiple bubbles since 2008. Housing bubble, stocks bubble, bonds bubble, student loans, subprime auto loans. And the chumming, the feeding frenzy, if you will, of the financiers or gorging themselves on income-producing assets while the dwindling middle class, I don't know if you've noticed those numbers, or the middle class is now becoming poor, has been mesmerized by these women, by these policies, by the Federal Reserve, by the IMF, because their sophisticated data sounds too complicated for us, because they know that we've been dumbed down by our education system, which has been funded and created on record by the elite to do that on purpose. And The middle class is disappearing, folks. You're going to have the rich, the ultra rich, just like in a communist country, and the ultra rich and the ultra poor, and they're going to be relying on everything to do what the rich do, and they just have to suck it up and do it. Don't be one of the poor. Get educated. Go to the Eyes Open Network. Subscribe to our channel. We're going to bring you information. We've been enlightened. The creators and the owners here at the Eyes Open Network have never, ever thought of this stuff before. And over the last 5-7 years, we've become enlightened to what's really going on. And it's all an illusion, and you need to wake up to that. So as we stand here and as we start to put content out, and as we start to push you and point direction where you should be going, where you should be learning, what you should be opening your eyes to, what you should be doing about it, investing in precious metals, valuable, not numbers or not paper. We're trying to give back. We're trying to give what we've seen over the last 5-7 years, what we've investigated, what we've studied, what we've learned. And you need to start doing that too. So come with us on that journey. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the website for more content from the videos that we're coming up with. We're putting out that data from you, not just made up data, real information, not sophisticated models, basic information so you can educate yourself. You need to be re-educated. What they taught us, the crap in high school and post-secondary colleges and school and universities around the world, is nothing that you need. That those things are not going to help you when it comes down to what's really going on outside of the slave market that you're in. Thanks again for watching the Eyes Open Network. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments below. Good or bad, either way. We want to hear from you guys. Are you fed up? Do you realize the illusion is happening? Do you think this is all hocus pocus what I'm saying? Look at the information. Remember, go by the motto, listen to all. Believe no one, including myself. Do the research yourself. Federal Reserve System. Federal Reserve, fiat currency, the illusion. Don't allow yourself to be freaking lulled into this crap. And leave your comments below. Share. Tell us if you're on our side. Tell us if you don't, what kind of content you want to see. Tell us if you're awake. Tell us if you do have your eyes open. Tell us if you don't have your eyes open, but you'd like to have it open. Let us know.